Welcome to another episode of Better Together. I am Deneen, and she is
Ward.
My daughter.
Yes.
Welcome back. We're going to continue honoring mothers for the month of May. This is our last episode on honoring mothers. Next month, for your information, we're going to be honoring fathers. So the same thing we did for mothers this month, we're going to do for fathers next month. So tune in. We want you to like, share, and subscribe. Get all the boys, all the young men, all the fathers, get them to tune in for next month. We have some great information to help and to honor them. So looking forward to seeing you guys. So, we got a good show today. Today, what we're going to be talking about is the characteristics of mothers and the benefits of it. And it's going to be great. So basically what I wanted to talk about today was talk about a good mother. And good mother isn't perfect. Everybody knows that. She's present, she's loving, she's committed. Her influence becomes part of her child's inner voice, and the voice that says, you can do this, you're worthy, you're loved. So today, whether you're honoring your own mother, reflecting on motherhood, or simply appreciating the woman who shaped you, remember this. A good mother doesn't have to do everything. She just has to love deeply, show up consistently, and keep on trying.
Yes.
So now,
important.
Go ahead, Sierrah.
That's important. Some essential characteristics of a good mother that we're going to cover more deeply throughout this episode is things like unconditional love, patience, emotional availability, consistency, empathy, strength, guidance, humility, support for individuality, and resilience. I mean, those things are, things you have to deal with like most relationships, but it's like really critical when you're a mother.
Exactly. And so what she said was the love as a foundation. We start off with love as a foundation. And so we start off with unconditional love, right? A mother doesn't base her love off of performance, perfection, or even convenience. Her love is steady, the kind that says you belong, you matter, you are mine always. This love becomes, again, a child's emotional anchor. And it's the reason they feel safe to explore, fail, try again, and grow.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of like children, we don't necessarily feel like anyone's love is unconditional. We always feel like, oh, if I mess up, they're not gonna care about me anymore. Or maybe there's some people who really feel like love is unconditional, so they just take advantage. So those are two.
That's so true. That is absolutely true, because I kind of feel like that sometimes. I feel like because we are family, you feel like you're entitled to some things, right? Yeah. So that means no matter what I do, I'm still entitled. Which that is not true, because truly relationships are transactional. They really are. They're exchanges. So, you're going to, exchange what I need, and I'm going to exchange what you need. So I think that that's a real thing. But does that mean that when you do bad things that a mother's going to not love you? No, it doesn't mean that. But it does mean that when you do bad things, or things that are not pleasing, I'm not going to say bad things that are not pleasing to her or whatever. What it means is that there may be some consequences, or that it may change what the relationship was. So all of a sudden, I may not trust you as much as I did before.
Yes,
trust is based off of activities and based off of interactions and exchanges. So yeah definitely. Yes. Okay, so Sierrah.
Yes. So another thing is patience in the process. Children don't develop in straight lines. They stumble, repeat mistakes, test boundaries. A good mother understands this. She practices patience, not because it's easy, but because she knows growth takes time. Her patience teaches her child that mistakes aren't the end. They're just part of the journey. I think that's a big thing. I mean, having patience is very difficult. Like, I mean, I don't have any children, but I suspect, I've even being around children, I'm sure it takes so much patience because they don't understand, and they're only so capable of doing certain things. And it takes like a lot of patience and understanding to like guide them down the right path.
Yeah, because you have your own expectations. You have your expectations of how your other children responded to things, how you respond to it, or how you want them to respond. And so those are some of the things that I think that makes patience a challenge in the process.
Yeah, and we want things to be easy, I think, or at least I do. Like, I would hope that I could like just imply something, and then a child or a friend or someone you're in a relationship with would just get it and immediately just like do it or change or adapt. But that's just not how it is. And not all things are easy. Communication isn't necessarily easy. So I think that's a big part of it. We kind of just hope it's like, why can't they just get it? Why can't they just do this or change or, do what I want? So I think that's a big piece where you need the patience to be like, okay, I told them this one time. Maybe I need to tell them again. Maybe I need to tell them in a different way. Maybe they didn't understand. So that's definitely a part.
I think part of the challenge comes from the microwave generation, right? Everything's so fast. We want everything to happen now. As a matter of fact, contrary, we don't want the process. Process means time. Process means it's going to take some time. It takes multiple things for it to happen. We don't want a process. We want results. We want a product.
We want to get to the end. We want spoilers. We want to know the result. How we want to get to it without the journey. And like you said, life is about the quest. That's
I think another thing to think about when we talk about patience is how do we set the pace, right? Because what I found as a mother from a son and a daughter's pace is different than a son's pace, right? And so there's a different push for a girl as opposed to a boy, right? So I think that those are the kind of things you have to think about when we're talking about. She said, they want results right now. Those are the things. Laura also understands the difference between the boy and the girl. Laura, right? Laura, give us some comments on that. What do we need to do different with our boy that we didn't do with our girl? I think what I always say is, boys just require more. They require more of a push, more attention,
more patience from you. I think you're talking about the timeline to expect change or results from a boy is different than a girl. I think you can probably expect a girl to change a little, like to do something a little faster. Whereas a boy might take months.
I think so. I think what's funny about that is when you have a lot of times we're talking about single parent homes. We have a lot of single parent homes, right? So that's a little different than we have a 2-parent home, but a 2-parent home doesn't guarantee that the father's interacting with the son more than a single parent home. It doesn't mean that, because many times there are fathers that are in the home and they're kind of absent in the sense that they don't say a lot.
Emotionally absent is common. Like I know a lot of people where it's like, or you would grow up, you would go to someone's friend's house and the dad was there, but you never heard from him.
Right.
But it's like, it's definitely like if that was the other way around and you went and the mother didn't speak to you or she didn't greet you, it'd be odd. You'd be like, man, his mom wasn't very friendly. But when a dad's like that, you never think that. You're just like, oh, he's just keeping to himself. That's, he's probably a great dad. It's like, so the expectation is very different.
Just April said that you got to do more follow-up with the boys. Follow up. It's like when we do with the girls, there's a lot of implication in there. There's a lot of assumptions in there with the girls. Girls will take things and they'll run and they'll go to the next step. With the boys, you tell a boy, unlock the door. He unlocks the door. The girl is like, she'll unlock the door and open the door.
Unlock it and then relock it. And then continue to do that.
And the boys just do one step by step by step. So that's just interesting. So
That's
yeah,
true.
so that's part of the patience in the process. So as a mother, we just gotta exhale and understand who we're dealing with, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's a thing about like I don't know if anyone truly has that much patience. I think it's a skill. I think you just have to adapt and to make an attempt to have patience, because I'm like, I don't know if naturally any of us have patience for anything.
Well, I think not, but I do think that we just kind of keep the frustration to ourselves, right?
Yeah, I think so.
But we just got to keep the frustration to ourselves and just
Mhm.
carry on. That actually is one, and we're going to talk about that a little bit later when we start talking about resilience, because that's one of those characteristics that a
Yes.
mother has to have, and that
Yeah.
kind of goes with that. But the next one is emotional availability.
Yeah.
Oh, it said now one of the most powerful gifts of a mother can offer is presence, being there, and that's what we were talking about the fathers, right? Not just being in the room, right? But being emotionally available, listening, noticing, April, right? And responding. That's good. A good mother becomes a safe place for her child's feelings. She doesn't dismiss emotions. She helps her children understand them. That's
Yes.
good, right?
Yeah. I think I think this is really critical. I mean, it's critical in all relationships, but it's one of those things where people don't even notice that they're emotionally unavailable. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? They're like, "Oh, I was there at the graduation. I fed them. I did this," but they're not noticing that they're being dismissive or not like being a safe space for their kids to discuss things with them. So I think that's definitely like very
Yeah,
important.
or even noticing when they are off a little
Yes.
bit, right? Noticing when they're not themselves,
Mhm.
right? How about that? Because we were talking about this earlier. We're talking about girls, and we're talking about when is that time of the month, the hormones raging, and they're a little different. And
Mhm.
so you, as a good mother, start noticing that. You're like, oh yeah, when it's that time of the month, that's one of the things that happens,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
Whereas opposed to it's that time of the month, they're short, whatever, and now you're latching out at them because they are not realizing that there is something going on.
And the way that you're able to notice the changes is by being constantly present. Like you see what they normally are like, and you're getting an authentic version of what they're like, because there's a lot of kids who are presenting a false uh uh a version of themselves to their
Yeah,
parents. So the
that's
parents
good.
can't even tell. They don't even know if something's off, because they're like, "Oh, they seem good. They acted normal. That's how they are." So people, I think a lot of people are not getting authentic version of their children, what they're up to, who their friends are, how
Mhm.
what the time they go to bed. Like they have no idea. Like you think, "Oh, they go to bed at 8." Meanwhile, they're in their room on their phone till 2 a.m. Like they don't even know what's going on.
Oh no, that's true. April said this was really good because she's a boy mom.
Mhm.
And so she said that they have cycles too.
True.
They might not have the tangible cycle, but they have the emotional cycles, right? April, is that what we're talking
Well,
about?
they say they have like men have a cycle, like the daily cycle. Like their
Mm-hmm.
energy peaks at a certain time and then it goes away and comes back, whereas ours is like throughout the month. So I've definitely heard
Yeah, that's really good, April. Thank you for that.
that.
She said,
Mhm.
yeah. She said, yep, Sierra.
That's it.
Yeah, I mean, thank you so much for that, April, because being a boy mom and being a girl mom, and what I mean by that, when I say a boy mom, I mean you only have boys,
Yes.
and when I say girl mom, I mean you only have girls. It's very different. So if you don't have, if you don't understand that, um, you need to talk to somebody about it because it's very different. So,
Mhm.
so
Yes.
for that, yeah, that's good. Yeah,
Oh,
emotional availability. People always talking about that. They're talking about that all the time. People are
yes.
not around. That's that whole story. We're gonna actually have a show on attachments styles,
Mhm.
and everything has emotion in it these days. So that's
Mhm.
but yeah, But moms, be present, fully
Yeah.
present, right?
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, Sierra.
Okay, then so next thing is consistency and stability. Um, kids thrive on predictability. A good mother provides consistency in her rules, reactions, and expectations. This stability becomes the child's first experience of trust. It teaches them that the world can be dependable and that people can be counted on. Yeah, stability, I think, is one of the. I mean, I'm sure, like, once again, I don't have any children, but I'm sure when they're in the parenting books, like, stability is the stability and routine is like something they're like, okay, especially from like a young age, they're like, you need to get them on a feeding routine, a sleeping routine, and that goes on through like childhood and into adulthood. So they say like people with good routines are more productive, things like that. So stability is important, and I'm sure you learn that from an early age.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think stability makes you feel safe,
Yes,
right?
100%.
Like it makes you feel comfortable, and that opens the door for you to be able to be honest and be authentic
Mm-hmm.
in whatever in that environment, in that space.
Yes,
That's
yes.
important. So
Yeah. And possibly for like children to like be willing to take more chances as well, because if they know they have like a stable home life to go back to, they'd be like, oh, maybe I will try to do that play, or I will try to speak to those friends, because they'll go home and everything's gonna be fine. Versus if there's chaos at home and uncertainty, then they might be less willing to take some chances in their like day to day and what they're able to do and whatnot.
oh yeah, no, that's good, Sierra, because that, like, a failure to fail. I
Mhm.
mean a fear to fail. So
Yes.
there, if you're going to be concerned about failing when everything else, nothing else is going right in your life, you're going to
Mhm.
be scared that other things are going to follow suit. And so,
Yeah.
just like you just said, which would make you less likely to take chances, less
Mhm.
likely to even have hope in other things,
Yes.
right? So
Yes.
less likely to trust,
Mhm.
right? All
Mhm.
those things when you don't have a stable home. So that a stable home is critical to the growth and just the outlook
Mhm.
on
Outlook.
yeah, it makes you have a more positive outlook when you have a stable home.
And then
Once again, sense of security.
and when they're talking about consistency and like reaction and expectations, I mean, when someone is consistent in how they react, especially if it's like a like logical, rational reaction to things, then you're more likely to tell them what's going on. Versus
Yes.
if you're unsure if they're gonna fly off the handle this day, or they're not gonna care this day and then they're gonna care the next day, then you just don't really want to go to them with anything. You could be
No,
like,
it's
oh, I
true.
gotta, oh, I need help with my homework. And you could get like this huge reaction, versus you
Mhm.
could also tell them and they'll get no reaction. You're like, oh, I don't even want to go to them with this. And then they'll hold on to it. And that leads to like the inauthenticity.
Yeah, and then, like we talked about before, that is one of the foundations of your communication styles.
yeah.
So it just opens the door for better communication when you feel like you have a safe space.
Yeah.
And not only that, the way that you communicate with your children is teaching them how to communicate with everybody else.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
you
Like
know,
asking for help, like the amount of people who like, I didn't know my kid was failing a class. I didn't know they didn't have any friends. I didn't know they were being bullied. It's
mhm,
like, well, they're not telling you anything.
right.
And they're like, well, I see them every day. They said everything was fine, but you really have to like really have your like fingers in their
Mhm.
psyche
Yeah,
to really
exactly.
know. Yeah.
Paying attention, just like you said, it goes back to presence, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So then we have another one, and we're talking about empathy and understanding. So,
Mm-hmm.
empathy is a quiet, I feel like empathy is a quiet superpower, right? A good
Yes.
mother tries to see the world through her child's eyes.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's key, because too many times we're looking at it the way we are looking at it, and we're on another planet, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yes.
she doesn't just react to behavior, she seeks to understand the feelings behind it. And this empathy helps her respond with compassion instead of frustration, connection instead of conflict. So yeah, I think it's really important to try to understand where your kids are coming from. And I think that can also be a challenge because hopefully our kids are coming from a different place than we came from. We hope that we've given our kids a life that's different than ours. And so what happens is we're still struggling, we're still stuck where we were and where we grew up. And so that can be a challenge in trying to, respond to our kids from this new place, this new space.
Yeah. And if you grew up like where you didn't get any empathy, no one had empathy for you, then it's hard to give others empathy. Like you might not even be aware you're not doing it. So that's something a lot of us have to learn about. It's like, okay, how to be empathetic towards others, considering things from people's point of view. Like that's not something everyone grew up with. So it's much easier said than done on some of these things, because you're just like, if your mother never gave you any empathy and then you have children, like that whole thing is just not something you've ever considered.
Right.
So it's something you definitely have to work on.
Yeah, I think so. And I mean, when you think about it, Sierrah, if you are only child and you don't have to consider anybody else but yourself.
Yes.
I mean, how does that work? How's that going to work when you have to start considering other people?
Oh yeah, that's a big thing. Yeah, especially if you're like, okay, you're an only child, and then you get in a relationship, and then you have to start negotiating with somebody. Then you have like 5 children, and then you just don't understand the dynamic at all. So it's definitely it's a learning experience, like through and through. And I mean, trying to see the world through your kids' eyes is difficult, because like you have no idea what they're going through or what they're experiencing. And also what they're saying could sound trivial, or it could make zero sense to you. Because even when I speak to people who are like, a couple years younger than me, and they're talking about like these social media communications and these relationships and what, certain action means and how important it is to them. And you're just like, none of this is important. Why do you care? But it's really like, it's hurting them. Like they need, this is real to them. So I can only imagine how it is with my children. You're like, why are you talking about that? So it's easy to be dismissive about things like that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But we have to, we have to try. We have to try, and we have to take what our children say seriously.
Yes, exactly.
Right? And do follow-up questions.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Interrogate them. It's like, why is that important? Why do I care about that? Why do you care? Like that's the stuff I'm always going with. It's like, what? Like, what does that mean? Oh my goodness.
But yeah, I mean, to help you get a clear understanding, because once again, when we're talking about parent to child, we're talking about generation gaps, right? So she said, Laura said that this is good. Military families' way of life compared to the non-military life, to me, is different. I think so too. I think that just coming from a military family ourselves, I absolutely believe that, because what happens when you're in a military family, you're used to depending on your fellow neighbors more so, whereas though when you're not in a military family, you're definitely more individual, right? Like a lot of people don't even necessarily know their neighbors, but when you're in a military community, you know everybody in the whole building. Yeah. I mean, you come to a new place, you got to find somebody to put on your family care plan, which means you got to trust somebody to take care of your kids if you have to go. So yeah, I think so. I think that is definitely.
Yeah, because people like, I'm like 30 years old. People can tell that I grew up in a military family, and I don't feel like I'm the most structured person or like, regimented, but people can clearly tell. So there's definitely a difference.
Yeah, people ask me all the time. They're like, "Huh? What branch did you serve?" And they ask me all those things. I'm like, "Oh, Army," And they're like, "Oh yeah, we can tell." Like, yeah, right. So yeah, I think so. Okay, so yeah.
So then, so the next one is guidance without control. This is a very, this is one of those that's like a fine line. A good mother guides. She doesn't control. She teaches values, models behavior, and offers wisdom. But she also allows the children to become their own person. She knows her job is to isn't to create a clone of herself, but to nurture an individual with their own dreams, strengths, and identity. I think that the biggest issue or like things people run into with this is like not trying to make a clone of themselves, because like they only know what they know. Exactly. So it's hard to like guide someone down a route you've never taken. And I don't know. Yeah, like I think that's where people struggle, or like there's things where you clearly just want the best for them. So it's just like you're just recommending stuff that seems obviously clear and the best. You're like, oh, be a doctor. That's going to be a good life. That's going to yield this. Like it's a clear, and you're trying to give like a clear, stable path. Like that's what you're trying to do. A lot of times there could be like a lot of pressure from involved, and then kids don't necessarily want to do that path. So it's like, you know, there's a fine line between trying to control, you know, the route your children take and just giving like guidance that could be helpful.
Yeah, I think so. I do agree with that. I think that a lot of times, you know, we as parents are trying to live vicariously to our children. So a lot of the things that we wanted to have and we wanted to do, many times we will try to push that on our children, and not because we are pushing it on them because we want to do it, but we're pushing it on them because we think that would have been better for us. And so we want our kids to be better. So that's definitely a thing. And the control thing is it is hard because it is a fine line between the control and nurturing, right? And inspiring, those kind of things. So you want to nurture and you want to inspire, but at the same time, depending on where age we're talking about, kids are not equipped to make grown-up decisions.
No, they have bad ideas.
For a long time.
They have bad ideas. Like if you ask a 2-year-old what they want to do, they want to eat candy all day, and you can't let them eat the candy. Or you ask like a teen boy what he wants to do. He wants to get a motorcycle. It's a bad idea. but eventually they're probably going to get the motorcycle.
Right. So not on my watch.
Yeah, not in your watch.
And I think, okay, so here's the thing that I did, and we talked about this before, probably a couple of weeks ago. Offer your kids options. So if you give your kids 5 options before they start thinking about things, they're going to think that they made a choice, their own choice, right? Yes. Instead of you saying do this, do that, you say, oh, here's 5 things that you want to consider. And I think when you do that, I think that to me is a better way of guiding them, right? She said being a girl dad. Okay, see, we got a girl dad out here. Being a girl dad has made me more aware of the need to be more patient. There are differences between boy dads and girl dads. We were talking about that before because my sister April's on here. She's a boy dad. And so your perspective is going to be different than her perspective. And guess what? Your perspective, you two's perspective is going to be different than mine because I have a boy and a girl. So oh, I love that, April. Good parenting equals trusted advisors. I like it. Yeah. But here's the thing. Your kids are not going to trust you if you're not consistent and you haven't created a stable, comfortable environment.
Correct.
So how are you? So as a good parent, you make sure that you're consistent. You make sure that you can be count on to do what you say you're going to do. You need to make sure you're operating with integrity. And if anything, we talked about this before too, April, if something goes wrong and you make a mistake, own it.
Yep.
You can reset, you can apologize. You can do all those things. It's okay to rewrite the script.
Yes. And that's something about the guidance. It's about modeling behavior. If kids see you owning up to mistakes, they will own up to their mistakes.
Right.
So that's a big thing. And then like what you were talking about earlier with like presenting children with options, it's like, to me, it's like the best way to do this, and it's kind of like a sales manipulation tactic,
I
really.
think you're going to use that word manipulation for sure.
You plant seeds of things that you think are good ideas for them to do without directly telling them, so that when they finally have to make a decision, they think they actually came up with the idea.
Right. They'll grab it. It'll be easy. It's low-hanging fruit. It's low-hanging fruit. If you give them multiple opportunities, it's low-hanging fruit. They'll grab onto one of those because you can think quicker than they can.
Yes, exactly. They'll all of a sudden they'll be like, like, man, accounting. I've heard about that. Like, be like, oh, where did they come from? It's like, you've been planting that seed for like years about accounting.
Exactly. Or constantly giving them math things and all those kind of things. I mean, there's just different ways to guide your children. It doesn't guarantee they're going to end up that way, but I believe that that's a good way of getting them on a path.
Because people don't want to be told what to do, and they want to feel like they're making their own decision without any input, and I know what to do. So it's just like, you just plant seeds, they'll grow into something. Like, put a bunch of airplanes in their room, all of a sudden, oh, I should be a pilot.
I like it. I love that. All these little young parents out there, listen. I mean, this is wisdom right here.
Yeah. But the issue is, like, if you just have your kids in front of on the tablet looking at social media, and that's all they're seeing, then of course they're all going to want to be a TikTok
content creator.
Yeah, content creator, opening packages, looking around at people. So, I mean, you just have to control what they're taking in as well.
Their eye gate, right?
Yes.
Control the eye gate. Another one is strength and protection. She said, so yes, after they take you through the ringer later in life, you're right. So funny. Absolutely. You have no idea. Like, you can do everything right, and the kid's going to end up the way that they're going to end up. Yes. But at least you can have some peace in what you did.
Yes.
You did the best that you could, right? Yep. So I'd rather end up that way. But when we're talking about strength and protection, a good mother is strong, not in a loud way or dramatic way, but in everyday way. She protects, she advocates, she stands firm when life gets hard. We've seen that. Her strength teaches her child resilience. It shows them what it looks like to endure, adapt, and keep on going. So I think it's important for our children to see us persevere. It's important. We don't need to show them, our bills, but they need to understand. We talked about that before. But they do need to see us, fighting for something, standing for something, right?
Yes.
That's important. I think I have my friend Laura's on here, and she got her doctoral degree last year, and she was going through a lot during that time. And I'm telling you right now, the respect that people have for her children have for her is priceless, because they saw her persevere through all the things that she was going through. They saw her just keep on moving, and she just kept taking one step at a time. So it's real important for our kids to see when hard times come that we are going to keep it moving.
Yeah, when I feel like when you ask kids, like, oh, what's one of the biggest characteristics of your mother? And when they have like a positive, like, even when people don't necessarily have a positive view of their mother, I would say that most of them would say like resilience. Like, I feel like a lot of people, that's one of the biggest things. Even if their mom wasn't emotionally available, even if she couldn't financially provide, even if she wasn't the nicest, people would say that, like, being resilient. I mean, that I feel like that's a hallmark of really what mothers like. It's honestly, it's you have to be. You have to.
That's true. Yeah, I remember Sky said that a couple of weeks ago about her mother. She said, my mom, no matter what happens, you know what, my mom just keeps on. She's still, keeps her head up. And it was just really it was pretty awesome to hear the way that she spoke about her mom. And she's a 13-year-old girl. Because so many times we hear mother-daughters We hear people saying that, oh, well, she's this age and this is that, that, and they're bumping heads.
Yes.
And for me, I haven't seen that much, but I hear about it a lot.
Yes.
And so one of the benefits that I've had is I have a bunch of wonderful people in my circle. I mean, I truly do live in a bubble. I live in a bubble of, kind, loving, loyal people. And so that's just been one of my benefits. But on the other side, I've heard about a lot of things with mother and daughters going at it when they get to be teenagers. I don't have a reference to that personally.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I'd be interested to know where that tension is coming from.
Yeah.
Like, is it just that, I don't know, are people seeing a mirror of themselves that they haven't confronted, and then that's where the tension is coming from? But yeah, we hear about that a lot. And like you said,
I mean, possibly. Do we have anybody in the chat that has had some, that had some issues with their children at a certain age? I mean, specifically gender and gender, like girl, the daughter and the mother kind of thing. I just always wonder about
the son and father. Like there's a lot of
the son and the father having conflict. I mean, they, it's called I think it's called the Oedipus one. I don't know. Those are different. The mother and the son and the mother.
Yeah.
Those are two different things. Yeah. Okay, so let me go on to the next one, Sierrah.
Okay, yeah. So humility and growth. What's it called? So yeah, we talked a little bit about this earlier. It's like a good mother admits when she's wrong, she apologizes, she grows. This teaches her child that perfection isn't the goal, honesty and growth are. Yeah, like we were talking about that early. It's like if children see you having humility and growing from your mistakes and admitting when you're wrong and apologizing, they're more likely to do so. If they see you never apologizing, your word is law. Like, what are they going to do when they're out and about with people? They're going to go, they're going to do the same thing, even if they're wrong, because I know in a lot of scenarios, maybe parents think, oh, they're always right. The parent's always right. But your child doesn't think that. So all they're seeing is you refusing to admit fault when you could have admitted even an ounce of fault in the situation and then not apologizing. So they're not going to do that.
Yeah, taking responsibility. Take some responsibility. I mean, take the responsibility of the part that you played in it, because we all play a role.
Yeah. Yeah, it could just be your tone, could just be, because like we said, most of the communication is tone. It's just a lot of it's misunderstanding. So even just that would be something, because the world's a nasty place when no one wants to apologize, when everyone wants to dig their heels in, no one wants to have any humility, no one wants to have any empathy. So we definitely need to make sure from a young age that kids learn these things and are able to function in society, because as we're seeing, no humility is not good.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think so. So yeah, we talked about that. And then, okay, here's one about celebrating individuality. A good mother doesn't shape her child. We talked about that before. Shape her child to who she wants them to be. She celebrates who they are, and she notices their gifts and encourages their passions and supports their unique path. That's how confidence is born, and self-esteem. Yes. Really, self-esteem more so, because confidence keeps coming, right? Self-esteem is embedded.
Yes.
Right. You know, you can build confidence in different things over time, but that self-esteem is embedded in you. And so as a good mother, you want to make sure that you celebrate them. Here's the thing, and you celebrate them based on who they are, not based on who you want them to be, and not based on who anyone else is, right? Yeah. No comparison. There's no comparison, right? Yeah, I think that's really important, because we get caught up. We do. You're like, oh, that's what I mean. Matter of fact, I was guilty of that. I remember when I was trying to. I mean, I come from the East Coast, and East Coast people, we like to dress, we like to look, we like to show, and so I would tell my daughter, oh, get this, let's get this and let's get that. This is in, and my daughter would be like, no, I don't want that.
No. Yeah, I'm not wearing a matching orange belt with my matching orange shoes
Matchy,
and
matchy.
some orange culottes. I'm not doing it. I'm not.
Yeah, so I mean, make sure that you don't get it caught up. She says, Sierra, great point on empathy and how that connects with our kids. Auntie, you're right about the need for us to following up with our kids. Absolutely. That's for sure. I'm not even sure who that is. Put your name in the chat so we know
Yeah.
who it is. I don't know who that is.
And something about the unique path, I think it's interesting because I mean sometimes all of us have like a lot of quirks about our personality. Like I have a lot of quirks that you don't necessarily have. Grant has quirks that like I don't necessarily have, and we really just need to celebrate those things. And I think part of the part of it reason that a lot of kids they feel like restrained when they're around their parents, like, and that's why there's like that inauthenticity. Like they're like, oh, I'm gonna have to go to my parents' house. I got to put the mask back on. I can't be my true self. My true personality can't come out. They can't know this stuff about me. So a lot of people feel really constrained around their parents. So I think that, which is interesting. I mean, I think it's just a lot of parents are just like, oh, you need to be this way. You need to be like, serious. I'm your parent. You are a child. Like, I don't need any, like, there's just a way we interact. So I think that's where that comes from. But if you just like support, people being a little unique, a little quirky, because that's not hurting anybody. Like, what's the problem with someone wanting to wear like zebra print shoes? Or like, like I'm guilty of this.
Buying golf shoes when you don't play golf.
Yeah, golf shoes, neon green golf shoes, or like socks that have thongs, or roller backpacks in middle school. Like no one's done that. Yeah, but so yeah, I mean, who cares?
So okay, so that's us. We're just those are inside jokes for us. But what's funny about that is all the things you are correct that we don't need to make our kids feel like they have to be a certain kind of way when they're in our presence. But as a parent, I do believe that we still have to uphold our standards. And that is standing on certain things. Because when you come to my house, there's certain things you're not doing. That's just what it is. And it has nothing to do with who you are, but everything to do with what's right and what's wrong in my house.
So. Yeah, just respect. Like there's, I think there's a difference between like, okay, you want to make sure your kids respect you, and you want to make sure your kids are like actively afraid to like look you in the eyes. Like there's people who are like that. They literally feel like, oh man, like I need to like put my white gloves on. I'm going to be around my parents.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, kids do. She said they respect you more when you apologize when you're wrong. They do, and we talked about that earlier. But they also respect you for being consistent. They also respect you. They respect you when you respect them for who they are. She said, Lauren said, I tell my children, be yourself, and my friends know that too. Be yourself goes a long way with me. I think so. I think, being authentic is what we're talking about. But at the same time, like I said, for me, I still have some standards at my house. There's just certain things that's just not going to happen at my house. And my kids understand that. And I think that they actually even appreciated that there are, some parameters that I've put in place. Because when I'm sorry, my kids are just not doing certain things around me.
Yeah. And there's a baseline. Like you shouldn't be cursing in front of your parents. You shouldn't be disrespecting their
getting drunk in front of your, no, that's not. That's not
like yes, exactly. Those are the things.
She said, my children 36 and 40 let me know who they bring into. Thank you. I need to know who's coming to my house. Like you're not just bringing people in my house. I love that. That's respect. But they understand what the rules are and they follow the rules. I think that when we put rules in place and we're consistent, then everybody knows what's going on. So yeah, I think so. I think that so I guess what we're going to talk about just a little bit more is we got about 15 minutes left, and we want to talk about the benefits of having a good mother, right?
Yes.
So we just want to talk about it. Again, I mean, we'll talk about, you get emotional security, right?
Yes.
Children who grew up with a loving, responsive mother develop stronger emotional regulation. They're more resilient, more confident, and better equipped to handle stress. That's what you want for your children, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. 100%. And then also there's identity and self-worth. A mother's voice often becomes the internal voice a child carries into adulthood, encouragement, boundaries, and belief in a child's potential from the backbone of self-esteem. Like we were talking about this, it's like self-esteem is like baked in very, very early on in your life. So, and mothers are a huge part of that. I mean, mothers give birth to you. She said, are your children's friends allowed to go in the refrigerator?
No, that's a Black thing right there. You can't go into somebody's refrigerator. You just can't. That's it. Unless unless you stayed over and I told you whatever, here you go. If you haven't gotten a tour of the open refrigerator, then you're not okay. It's not okay.
That's true. That's true. Maybe that's it. Yeah. If you get the tour of the open refrigerator and are told, oh, this is where something is, then you can go in the refrigerator.
Exactly.
Now I'm guilty. I will go in someone's refrigerator.
Oh my gosh. And look, I had somebody that came over to my house and we had lunch or something and they wanted to put the mustard back in the refrigerator. And I thought, why are they going to be going in my refrigerator? And they were trying to be nice. So yeah, that's the thing.
Always clean your fridge out. Always make sure it's clean. You never know. You don't know what people are capable of.
Your kitchen and the bathroom. Those where you got to start. Right? For sure. Okay, so that's good. I guess the other one is social intelligence. So when you got a good mothers model empathy, communication, and conflict resolution. Kids raised with warmth and structure tend to build healthier relationships throughout life. So, so mother sets the tone for that, right? Yes. Your empathy. If you got, just like Sierrah said before, if you have empathy, your kids are more likely to have it. If you know how to communicate, your kids are going to communicate similar to the way that you communicate. So depending on how you communicate, if you're a yeller, you're probably going to have one of your kids going to be a yeller. If you are a person that shuts down, you might going to have a kid that shuts down, right? If you if you do conflict resolution, then your kids are going to have some coping skills as well, right? Yes. So, and that's what we want, because unfortunately for us, we have made our kids' lives so convenient and comfortable that they don't have the coping skills that we have. And so we need to make sure that we at least have some conversations and show them what conflict resolution is all about.
Yeah. Like for instance, like if, growing up, I saw you get places on time. Oh, we need to leave now. This starts at this time. We need to be on time. If I grew up hearing, oh, it starts at 6, but we can get there whenever, and showing up and the party's already started and everything's already done, like that would be normal to me. But now since I saw you, trying to be on time, making an effort, now I'm on time, like critically on time, to the point that I have to actively try to be late because so many people are late.
Right.
I just sit there waiting, trying to be late all the time.
Time management, right? It's called time. Well, you know what? Here's the thing. That time thing, since you said that, Sierrah, time management, your mom does set that tone for that, right? But also respect for other people's time.
Yes, that's what it is.
And it's doing what you say you're going to do. If you say you're going to be somewhere at 6, guess what? If you respect yourself and people's time, you're going to be there at 6, right? So,
and that's honesty as well. Because if you say you're going to be there at 6, but you're not, because a lot of people do that. Like they're like, oh yeah, I'll be there at 6. They know they're not getting there till 7:30. Why not just say 7:30?
Right.
What's that about? What's going on?
Yeah, be honest about it. Like, you're not going to do it. And then, people are going to change their expectations of it. Well, here's the thing. I'm going to know that you're going to be late, but I'm also going to adjust as well. So if I know you're always a late person, I'm probably going to tell you need to be there earlier. Yeah. Right. Or I might not invite you to something that somebody needs to be on time.
Yeah, if timeliness is important, I'm not going to invite you. If if the flight is at a certain time and I know you can't be on time, I'm not inviting you. That's 100%.
I'm certainly not going to have you, if you're a person that's always late, to pick me up. You're not picking me up. I see you there.
Yes, I'll meet you. I'll meet you there. Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, people just need to be honest about it. Like, just be honest. Like, I have friends who know they're late, and they'll tell you, "Oh, I'm a person who's late. I'm probably going to be there 30 minutes late." Cool. At least I know. I don't expect to show up there and you're there at 6. Right. But the issue is when people are trying to fraud you and tell you, "Oh, I'm on time," and then every single time there's an excuse about what happened. And it's just like the excuse doesn't matter. It's just what happened is what matters.
Well, the other piece, and since since I'm on a soapbox,
we're
let's talk about procrastination. Let's talk about that's a whole show about procrastination, about people saying they're going to do something and they don't do it, about kicking the can, and so that's another whole show we could talk about. But go ahead, Sierrah.
Yeah, so some lifelong health benefits from having a good mother, or having nurturing maternal care. So it could be from mother or father, or however the dynamic is lower rates of anxiety and depression. That's huge. That's big. Yeah. Like there's nothing. Those things are really crippling. Healthier stress responses. And I think those things tie together because anxiety is kind of linked to like how you react to like stressors. And then stronger immune function.
Wow.
So that's crazy. That's
Well, kind of that goes with stress, because disease is called dis-ease. That's what stress is. Stress is a dis-ease. And so, you're going to find your kids that don't have, a good structure in their homes and stuff, they're more likely to get sick. Right? Yeah. If you don't feel good mentally, it's hard for your body to respond in a positive way. Right?
Yes.
So I think that's an issue.
I mean, because you can, like, we've seen it. You can literally see when someone has had a stressful life on their face. Like, you can see someone who's lived with a lot of stress. You've seen someone who has, like, you can see it visually. So this being the benefits of good, like, maternal care is like incredible. And then it's also that we have to remember that the body remembers love. Like, the body remembers pain and it remembers love. So we want to make sure we focus on the love part.
Exactly. I like that. The body remembers pain and the body remembers love. What do you want your children's body to remember? That's what you have to say. So I think that's important. I think, so, how are you nurturing the body? What are you doing to your children to show them love? Because the more love you show them, the more positive impact it's going to have on their lives, right? So then the last one is, you go ahead, Sierrah, you can take that.
Okay. Then so it's something to consider is the generational impact. This is something we've kind of like discussed earlier. Is a good mother doesn't just raise a child; she influences how that child will parent, love, contribute to the world. Her impact ripples outward. This is 100% true. And like we said, it's like when people have negative influences from their great grandmother didn't have any empathy, so then their mother doesn't have any empathy, so they don't have any empathy. It's like you have to break these generational curses, because if you don't, it just keeps going forever. It's a constant, like the amount of people who are like, they look up and they're doing exactly what their mother was doing, or and even if it was like they hated what was happening to them, they're doing exactly what was happening to them. So we have to like consider like the generational impact, break some negative cycles, do some positive ones, because it ripples outward, as it says.
Right. And we talked about that before. Rewrite the script.
Yeah.
Right. We have a clean slate, and we can write our story. Right.
So, anytime.
Anytime you can rewrite it anytime. If things are not going the way that you want it to go, even as a parent, we talked about that before, that as a parent, we can still evolve, we can still be better, we can still do better, and some of that has to be, us admitting that we were wrong, right? Admitting that we didn't do it the way that we wish we had done. It didn't have the impact that we thought it should have or that we wanted it to have. But at the same time, I think we should always be looking forward to how we can be better. And so that's what this show is all about. It talks about we're better together, right? Through communication, connection, and collaboration. When we do those things, we're all going to be better. Yeah. So that's all we have for tonight, you guys. I feel like, guys, thank you so much for you guys interacting with us. And I hope, again, that you guys would like it, share, and subscribe. And we'll see you guys next week for another Better Together. Meanwhile, come tune in on Monday. I don't know are we having a Corner Truth show on Monday? Maybe it's a holiday, so I'm not sure. But we will have a show on Tuesday. And then Wednesday, the Legends, we got a show on Wednesday. And then Friday, we have our sports show. And then we'll be back on Sunday to see us again at Better Together. So see you guys later. Thank you guys for watching.